Hello, YouTube peoples. I'm Insane Lane, as well as a Canadian girl, and we are back with another body cam video. This one was top of my list right from the beginning. We have a woman who gets pulled over in a traffic stop. She does not do what she needs to do. The cop does some of what he needs to do, but then goes very wrong, in my opinion. Both sides have some serious wrongs here, but we'll see where we come out in the end. I have only seen the beginning of this. I've not seen it all the way through, nor do I know how it ends. So, let's see what we think when we take everything into account. We always try to be fair to both sides here, so let's see where we end up.
What? Stop!
My daughter's in the car. She's 9 years old. Do not touch me. We're going to have so many legal problems up your ass. You have no idea. You're not taking me away from my daughter. What did I do?
Like a child, like an idiot.
So
you
that
put your
makes
Okay.
daughter in danger.
No.
Leasing taxpayer dollars to have both
You are
because
not the
small
judgment
and
police.
white
No.
Like, I'm a good mom, and I'm not going to put my kid through that.
On March 14th, 2024, officers conducted a traffic stop on a woman for speeding.
You stay in your car.
This is my house. I just need you to follow me home. Sorry.
No, ma'am. What's going on?
Please give me a second.
Ma'am, what? Stop!
Don't touch me.
Stop.
Don't touch me.
What's going on?
I need to get home.
No.
Yes,
No,
I'm home.
stop,
Don't touch me. My daughter's in the car.
I
She's 9
understand.
years old. Do not touch me.
I understand.
Can
Why
you please help me?
No.
This is my house. I'm
I
trying to get to my
understand.
house. Then get off of me.
No.
You have no right to touch me right
Hands
now.
on your back.
Stop.
Okay. A lot of things happening very quickly here. Let's try and deconstruct some of this. This cop has obviously pulled this woman over. She did not, I guess, stop immediately. We're not sure. It's debatable later because I heard a little bit more of the cop saying that he had followed her for a while, but it's unclear how long. So I don't know if she was right around the corner from like this cul-de-sac or this little street that she lives on, because the video cuts in right when we're pulling up to her house. So I don't know if the cop was following her for 5 seconds or 5 minutes. He does appear to be alone. I do think if he was following her for more than about a block, he probably would have called for backup, or there would have been some kind of chase element that we probably would have seen. So I don't think he was following her that long. However, she should have waited in her car and addressed the speeding ticket, which is why she's being pulled over, and not jumped out of her car, walked away. That was wrong. I understand she's clearly upset right now. She is saying her daughter is in the car, which all the more reason you would, I think, stay in the car and try to handle things calmly. As we can see, and she'll say later, she's having furniture delivered. That's why she was that is why she was speeding. She needed to get home to meet the delivery. We've all been there, okay? I've been there. I've literally been in a taxi going like I'm missing, the IKEA truck, and you stress out, and it's one of those things that can make you crazy. Doesn't excuse the way she's behaving right now. And again, the cop has every right to detain her. He definitely does, because she is not obeying his instructions. She got out of the car. Do I think she presents any kind of danger? No. Do I agree with him preventing her from going in the house? Yes. Because you never know. You don't know who's on the other side of that door. You don't know if she's got a shotgun inside the door. You don't know if her husband's got a shotgun inside the door. So I agree with not letting her go in the house. Do I agree with him getting physical at this point? Slightly, yes. Because again, he did tell her to stop several times. She didn't stop. And to this point, I have seen the cop use a reasonable amount of force and actually more patience than I've seen other cops do in similar circumstances. I.e., he hasn't thrown her on her face or tased her, threatened to shoot her, or anything crazy like that. So far, the cop is doing good, and this lady is not. I get that she's stressed and she needs to handle her business, but you got caught speeding, you need to handle that first. And especially with you sitting right there, and the delivery guys are obviously like unloading stuff. They're not going to drive away. Take a moment, deal with the situation you created. She chose not to do that. There are consequences for that. We'll see if they're reasonable or not.
Hands behind your back.
Touch me.
Hands behind your back.
I know you're giving me a ticket for speeding,
No.
and I'm here.
The problem is you're getting out of your car when I'm making the traffic stop.
Why? Call Jim McConnell. Call Jim McConnell now.
Okay,
Call
never
Jacob
a
Morris.
fan of name
Sergeant
dropping.
Morris, I swear to God, you arrest me for trying to get my freaking furniture, We're going to have so many legal problems up your ass, you have no idea.
And
Go ahead.
you have
Put me in handcuffs
every
for no
right
reason.
to contact a
Impart my
lawyer.
kid, traumatize her while I'm trying to get to my home.
I have
Take
no
her
problem
secret
with
and
him
give me
putting her in
facts
cuffs
information
at this
that they
point.
need,
She
because
is
they
not
don't need to get my
listening and she
together.
wasn't
You did,
stopping.
for some reason, in
He
this
didn't slam her
development,
onto the
I was gonna get
ground. He
out of my
didn't,
car to do
you
something
know,
to you.
leg sweeper and crack her
No,
skull.
exactly. So then what is the theatrics for?
Because I'm in a traffic stop.
Ma'am,
you
you're
got
the
out of your
one
car,
being
you didn't
slightly
listen to me,
theatrical at the
you
moment.
obstructed official business.
That's
You
not official
resisted
business.
arrest.
I'm not resisting arrest. Why are you arresting me?
I don't, for
what
me,
reason?
that doesn't rise to the level of resisting
My
arrest.
daughter
I
is in the
understand that
car.
most
This way.
Can I
police
get her out of the
forces
car
Not right
would
now.
so she can get in her
disagree and
home?
that
Not
Because
right
under
there's
now.
no other
policy
adult
you
on the
can count that as
I got
resisting.
you. We're going to deal with
But
that.
I can walk by myself.
let's also be
This is
reasonable.
absolutely ridiculous.
All right, all the way in, please.
No, because my
Yes.
daughter is right there. She doesn't know what's going on. Do you have children?
I do
Should've
feel
thought
bad
about
for the
this.
Do you have
kid
children?
who is now getting out of the
Right, I
car
told you to
because
follow
he doesn't
me
know
so you could give
what
me
is
the
going
ticket.
on.
You're not taking me away from my daughter.
Your mommy's okay. I know.
It's
Yeah,
okay, baby.
deal with
Stay
the
in front of 4477.
Go get in the car,
Caution
Deani.
Trail.
Please.
All the way in, man.
What is the purpose of me being all the way in? You can at least
How do I not
answer
have
that
paper?
question for me.
You're under arrest.
For what?
I was making a traffic stop. You got out of
How do
your
I not
car.
have paper that's blank on one side?
You didn't stop. You continue to
Seriously,
go.
I don't.
Yes, I said give me
placed
1
you-
second.
That's not how it works.
Why does it have to be that just because I got out of my car to give information to other people so I could come here and handle this ticket with you? Why does that have to be
I
an
know it was a
arrest?
ticket, but now it's an arrest.
For what?
In the car.
What am I supposed to do with
Get
my
in the
kid?
car. We're gonna figure that out.
Okay, then. So do you think a mother, a good mother, is going to get in
No,
a
right now
vehicle?
you're not being a good mother.
You,
That's over a line. Okay. A couple of things to break down. The muted section, she was giving personal information. The original video did not cut that out, so I muted that section. That's why the sound goes quiet for a few seconds there. But as much as this woman is freaking out and she's not being rational when she says that she wants the kid to get in the police car with her, obviously that's not going to happen. But the kid is upset now. The kid is out of the car. I understand the officer needs to deal with this woman and he wants her in the back of the car where he can close the door and she's secure, I guess. But I'm not a huge fan of the way he spoke to the child. It wasn't that great, especially to a kid who's getting upset. And for him to then turn and be yelling at the mother in front of the kid, this is not good. I understand this cop is alone and that makes any situation 10 times harder. But dude, you got to deal with what's in front of you, and you continuing to yell even though this woman's not doing what you want, still, you're not helping dealing with it this way. And now he has crossed the line because he has just said that she is being a bad parent. That is not for you to say, officer. You're not the morality police, you're not the ethics police, you're not the parenting police, though I'm sure cops feel that way sometimes, and sometimes they're to a large degree right there. I've seen many a situation where cops had to be the parent, or where they found people who are genuinely bad parents, and you know what I'm talking about. But you don't get to call somebody a bad parent. You certainly don't get to do it in front of the child. That's not up to you, and that's not why you're here. This is where I'm seeing the cops start to lose the professionalism. He's making this personal now. Okay, he's no longer dealing with the traffic stop or the speeding or her obstructing by walking away or resisting arrest, if you want to add that. He's addressing her personally and addressing her behavior as a parent, which is not his concern. I'm not saying whether he's right or wrong or what I think of her parenting in this moment. She's not getting an A there from me, I'll say that much. But she's concerned for her kid. Somebody needs to be concerned about the kid. I'm not seeing that happen. And I can understand how that would make somebody say, I'm not getting in the car until till I know my child is settled. What are you going to do with the kid? We don't know if there's a dad in this situation. So far, she could be a single parent. So where's the kid going to go? That thought is going to override most other thoughts. Because as a parent, most parents, the good ones, their first concern is the kid. Now, you can say she's using that as an excuse or whatever. You may to some degree be right, but the fact of the matter is something has to be done with this child. This kid is 9. They're going to have to figure something out. I understand she doesn't want to get in the car and potentially be driven away while having no idea what's going to happen to her child. Also, the police are going to need her help to make arrangements. They're going to need to know, does this kid have a father in the picture, or a grandparent, aunt, uncle, someone they can stay with? So, if I was the officer here, I'd be addressing that with her. Also, I think it is overkill on his part to have already decided to arrest her. I understand the need to detain her to deal with the speeding thing, but to blanket say, you're under arrest and that's final and you're definitely being driven away when, again, there's the kid to consider, and quite frankly, what she did was not that bad. What she did was more, an offense to an ego and her attitude needing a little correcting. Well, her manners more than her attitude, I would say. But to, at this point, be going so hard is a little much for this situation. But we'll see where it goes.
Your permissions, you think that. My sister is a dispatcher for your guys' dispatch department.
Perfect.
That's
Her
true.
boyfriend is a freaking cop, and you're going to sit here and you're going to tell me all this bull. I understand.
It's probably
how this
true.
works.
Yes.
I do. And
Good.
just because you say something is a law
Yes.
doesn't mean that that's the truth.
Yes, it is.
No,
Get inside.
it does not. Just
Okay.
remember-
Whoa, I'm just gonna address that statement. I hope he didn't mean that as horrifically as it just sounded. Because she said, just because you say something, it's not a law. And he responded with, yes, it is. Now, I hope what he is saying is that he is aware of the law. And so when I tell you that you need to stop, I am within my rights as a police officer and I'm within the law to tell you to stop, and you're required to stop. He didn't say that, though. The way it came out in this moment, it sounds like he's saying my word is law. And I've heard cops say that and fully mean it. I hope this guy does not.
Officer of the law does not
Yes.
mean that what you say is
Get
a
in the
law.
car.
It doesn't work that way.
Get in the car.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
not
it does.
leaving my daughter.
You are.
You are heavily mistaken.
Okay, he's
You are heavily mistaken. If
Being
you think that
not
we're any
great right
second,
We're gonna find
I'm going
someone
to
to
leave
take
my
care of
kid.
her.
okay.
Get in the car.
Yes,
No,
thank
that's not
you.
happening.
We're gonna
Thank
try
you,
to-
officer, for finally saying we're going to get
Yes.
someone to
That is
take
not
care of
happening.
her.
I don't.
Yes, it is.
You can charge me with whatever you want to charge
I
me
already
for.
am.
That is not happening. I promise you
already
that. My button is on the top visor of my car. Please go in and deliver the furniture, because that's exactly what I'm here for. I'm getting
Perfect.
arrested for this. So if you could just do
You
that,
can
that'd be
get
great.
whatever you need to get.
Thank you.
No problem.
This is
So the
absolutely
reason why you
insane.
weren't stopping is because you had to get the furniture delivered?
Yes, because they were going to
Okay.
leave. They called, but they called my husband. They didn't call me. So
Okay,
I was
so
trying
there's
to
a
get
husband
home,
in
so
the
I figured you
picture.
could follow me here. I could take the ticket
That-
here. I
no.
understand I was speeding. I was on the phone with the lady, bawling my eyes out because
Okay.
it's been the most stressful process.
Yes. It's gonna
Probably
be a lot more
shouldn't
stressful,
be admitting that
I'll
you were on
handle
your
the
phone while
legalities.
driving.
I'm not
Okay.
worried about that. I know that I committed a crime. I went too
Yeah.
fast, and I stopped at the stop sign.
That's a ticket.
Right.
The ticket is nothing. The problem is the obstructing.
You
and the-
decided to put your hands on me. You
I
decided to touch me.
absolutely did.
Why?
Because of
Yep.
your actions.
What did
You
I
acted like
do?
a child, like an idiot.
Okay,
Put your
now,
dog-
whoa. Listen right there. We're gonna back this up about 10 seconds. Listen to the change in this officer's voice.
Unfortunately.
I'll handle the legalities. I'm not
Okay.
worried about that. I know that I committed a crime. I went too
Yeah.
fast, and I stopped at the
That's
stop sign.
that's a ticket.
Right.
The ticket is nothing. The problem
Okay,
is the
listen.
obstructing.
You
and the-
decided to put your hands on me. You
I
decided to touch me.
absolutely did.
Why?
Because of your actions.
What did
you
I
acted like a
do?
child, like an idiot.
So
You
that
put your
makes-
daughter in
I did not
danger.
put my daughter in danger.
Okay. Do we hear the difference there? Because at first he's talking calmly and he's saying, you were speeding, that was a ticket, it would have been a very minor deal. She says he put his hands on her, he says, yes, I did. Again, he was fully within the right to do that at that point. But then he escalates and his voice changes drastically. He suddenly is louder, he's angry, he's borderline shouting, he's pointing aggressively, and he invokes the child again. Stop it. You're not just being a bad cop, you're being a bad person when you do shit like that. This lady is having a bad enough day. You don't need to make it worse. You've already arrested her. She's in cuffs, in your car, partially in your car. You don't need to still be asserting such a level of dominance and control right now. And I note that when he gets to saying you obstructed, you resisted, you set a bad example in front of your kid, that's when he gets angry. And those are all you offended me crimes. Now, yes, obstruction and resisting are actual crimes, I'm well aware, but They are also crimes that get charged a lot when cops feel disrespected, which is what, in my opinion, the cop is admitting to now. He was professional with her about the speeding until he felt disrespected, and now he's yelling at her for it. Again, he was within his rights how he handled it initially. He's not in the right to be yelling at her and saying that she's setting a terrible example and calling her an idiot and a child. What training manual is that out of? Because all you're doing, officer, is you're making yourself look bad. If I'm the defense attorney, I can shred you with you doing that. More on that in a few minutes.
What are we gonna
nothing,
do?
because
Shoot me?
furniture was here.
You're gonna shoot us? I did not put her in danger. I went 45
Yes, you did.
to 35.
You were going 54
Okay,
and a
he does not
35.
need to be
Yes,
saying
Stop
that
the
she
police.
endangered her
You're trying to get away from
child.
the police.
I did not try to get away from you.
Yes,
I
you
knew you were
did.
coming to my home. I brought you
I
to
was
my
coming for
house.
you.
I brought you to my house.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly. So if I was coming home, wouldn't it make more sense for me to bring my child to where she's going to feel safe and comfortable, and then I don't
No.
have to miss out on my furniture opportunities, and then I can have them deliver what they need to deliver and do what they got to do, and I can take the ticket from you?
No.
In my mind, that made sense.
Okay, well, that
That
did not
made
make
Okay,
sense.
what I need to
So get a
know is
speeding
how
ticket,
far away
Chelsea,
were
sure,
they?
bring them to the house. You're
If they
gonna
were
pull
right
over
around the
off
corner,
main road.
I
Jaeger's only a 2-block
100%
street.
get
So
this
instead of
lady's
impeding
logic.
traffic on a main road, I thought, okay,
Again,
I'll
I
put him in the
don't
development.
think that he
He
was
can follow
following
me.
her
I
for that
couldn't do
long.
I said,
It
come
just
on,
doesn't
follow
read
me.
that
I
way.
knew I was getting a ticket.
Right.
I'm
I
kind of
knew that.
surprised at this
So I
point he
did.
hasn't
There
called
you
for
go.
backup
All
I
yet.
right,
didn't know it was
horses for
illegal to
gentlemen.
get out of your vehicle
When the police officer's yelling, stop, you gotta listen.
when you're running away.
He
I was
is
running away
right.
from
You
you.
gotta
I was
stop
on
when
my
they
way
say
to my
stop.
I don't
house.
know you.
But he
Exactly.
doesn't
So
need to be
instead,
arguing
say,
with her.
"Ma'am, where are you going?" Instead, you're over
Like,
here assuming
he's
that what am I
he's
gonna do,
arguing
run
with
in
her
the
trying to
suburbs
be
and get a gun
right
and
right now,
run
and
around
that's
shooting at furniture?
not
Ma'am,
his
that's
job. He
stupid.
doesn't need to be
That is
addressing
so
any of
stupid.
this.
First of all, no. First of all, no.
All right,
Not
who
at
can
all.
take care of your child?
My husband's a UPS driver. He's currently working. He doesn't even know this is happening right
Right.
now.
Okay,
Because
so
I'm on the
somebody
phone
needs
with
to
them,
call
my furniture
him.
company, trying
Right.
to get my furniture delivered.
Right.
We just moved into this house March 1st.
Mhm.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I would really like to call someone.
Okay, so in case you can't see, the date on this video is March 14th, so they've only lived in this house for 2 weeks.
This is insane.
So
This is how you operate?
she's definitely under like all the
You have
moving
questions
stress
for
and
me?
all that. I have no
You need me
doubt.
to sign anything? All right.
I will say
This is
props to
Kelly,
her
my
for
neighbor.
still
Her
managing
name,
her
right, Kelly?
furniture delivery while she's
Kelly.
under
She can
arrest.
sign the paperwork for you.
That is like
Can you sign for my
kind of
furniture?
badass.
Hi, is Jim on duty today? 21 Broadway. Connell?
I wish I knew who she was trying to invoke. Like,
Yes, please. That would be great.
is that the chief of police or something? Because she did say her sister's a dispatcher and like married to a cop, I think.
Go ahead.
So I'm not sure whose name she's trying to invoke here.
He's got me hot. I literally
okay.
knew I was getting this.
But I also note they're now moving her to a different car for some reason.
He's on a weird rookie power trip.
Okay, have a seat.
I do agree he is on a power trip.
I'm scared, so I'm going to stand and just
That's
right
fine.
here. Is that okay?
Yes, just relax.
My whole
Don't.
body is
Here,
hot.
here. What
He's
is your
gonna
name?
get
Okay,
upset.
this is a different cop.
And I'm not hiding information. This
Just
is my
listen,
house.
just listen. Don't make this worse.
I know.
Okay,
I'm not
this is,
trying
if
to.
it's just a simple speeding ticket
Yes.
or whatever, then let it be that. Don't
He
turn
got
it
out
into.
of the car and then yelled at me, and I said,
Okay, so this is a different cop. This is a good move to separate her from the original cop because obviously there's just too much antagonism there. So I get that this guy is saying, okay, I will listen to you, we'll figure it out, but for now, just stand here. I like that she said, can I just stand here and not fully get in the car? And he did say that was okay. We'll see if he sticks to it. She's trying to explain to him what happened. He's doing something that I don't like from cops, which is saying, okay, like get in the car and then I'll listen to you later or something, because A, they never do, and B, I don't like anyone blanket taking anybody's side for any reason. So let's see where this goes.
hold on 1 second.
But
And
you
then
have to
he
understand-
ran up on me, grabbed me, and put me up against the van.
Okay.
What would you do? And my 8-year-old is in the car. She has no idea what the hell's going on.
Is your kid 8 or 9? Because you
Our
said
job,
both.
though, when people jump out of cars, it's like, why are they doing this stuff? Most people, hear me out.
Mhm.
Most people sit there and wait till we do our thing
That's
and
fine.
send them out
Mhm.
the way.
That's fine.
I
Okay.
don't know what happened
So
before
my
I got
scenario, the reason why I got the speeding ticket, okay? I was at work until 1 o'clock.
here. Okay.
I left work to get my daughter
Okay.
because they gave me a window. Dewey's Furniture gave me a window from 2 to 6 for my furniture to be delivered.
Okay.
So I picked up my kid from school
I got
early,
you.
and then I was planning on coming here, being here, so that way I could then be here to sign for my furniture.
No
Okay.
problem. I get it.
I'm on the way here. I get a call from my husband on 58. He said, babe, they're already there. They're going to leave if you don't get there soon. I said, okay. I was like, I'm going to be on Jaeger. Tell them I'm going to be there in like less than 4 minutes. So I went 45 and a 35. I knew I was going faster. I saw him. I didn't even bother. I knew I was going to get the ticket. I knew it. That's fine. I slowed down.
Did he turn your lights on way down there?
No, he turned around down there. I saw him turn around.
Okay,
and
so
I said, okay,
when did he turn on his lights, I guess?
Right at the stop sign
Right here? Okay,
Yep.
okay.
I crossed through the stop sign.
Okay.
I came up to the house. I waved my hand out the window like, come on. I waved my hand out the window. I parked right there, put the car in park. I got out the car and I said, 1 second.
Okay.
I started running towards the van. I didn't.
Okay, so it sounds like I was more or less right. This cop, there was no, I don't see that as being fleeing. If this cop tries to charge her with fleeing, I'm going to laugh my ass off because I don't see that as fleeing. What she is saying, if the stop sign that she's talking about, and that's when he turned the lights on, which tell her to stop, if it's within their field of vision of where they're standing, i.e. it's like within half a block, I don't have any problem with where she came to a stop. Now, for those of you that are going to say, well, I saw him turn around and start following me earlier, so what? Until he turns his lights and siren on and is telling her to pull over, the fact that a random police car turns around and possibly is following you or possibly is following any other of the 50 other cars on the road, you don't have to stop just because a cop is driving behind you. Them turning on the lights and sirens is what tells you that they want you to stop. So it sounds like she really didn't go that far. Granted, still should have stayed in the car, dealt with it, and then got out and dealt with the furniture. But it's, I don't see fleeing or that she was running from him at all, like he was kind of saying.
They were at, so I was getting ready to go to the back of the van. He said, ma'am, stop. And I said, okay, 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Okay. And he said, you're under arrest. And then he put me up against the van, and then he put me in handcuffs. I said, my daughter is in the car. What are you doing? Like, don't touch me. Why are you touching me?
So I
don't understand.
In our
I'm not a criminal.
So we don't know anybody.
So the daughter.
Yes.
I just met them once. I don't know them at all, and so.
Great impression for the new neighbors.
I just want to make sure she's obviously taken care of.
We're going to make sure you're taken care of.
What do you want? Can I help in some way?
Yeah, I'll see if I can't get the father's number. See if we can get the father.
Also, can I just ask, why is the child now being blurred and they weren't before?
Perfect.
Okay,
Yeah,
if not, like, I'm more than happy to have her come in and hang out.
Awesome. As long as it's good with mom or the father.
Yeah, whatever.
They got to make that
whatever you
decision
guys
with
want
that.
to do.
Perfect.
Okay, so at least we have a neighbor who's like, yeah, the kid can come hang at my place till you can find daddy.
No one's hurt.
Yeah.
We just got to figure some stuff out. We're going to make sure we get a hold of your dad. That way you're taken care of.
Sounds like there's actually people trying to calm the kid down now, which is good.
But look extra cute in that pink. What is that? A sweater or a hoodie?
It's a poncho.
Purple. Pink. Purple. I might be colorblind.
Pink? Is it pink? Pink and purple in it? Well, you look beautiful in that, honey.
You do. All right, just hang tight, and then we're going to figure everything out. You have to understand this. Hear me out.
This is not my world.
Hear me out. Hear me out. When we pull cars over, we don't know who's in that car. We don't know if you're. We don't know if you go to church every day or you're a hardened criminal.
I understand.
But when people get out and run from the car,
I'm not running.
You said you ran up to the truck.
I walked quickly to the truck.
But hear me out.
Running.
Hear me out.
God,
hear me out. We don't know that. We don't know that you're here missing a Dewey's appointment. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but
I fully get what this cop is trying to explain to her.
He didn't want to talk to me, nothing. He didn't ask any questions. He just pushed me up against
I understand her point of view as well.
Everybody saw it. I said, get your hands off me. Why are you arresting me? Get in the car, ma'am. You got to leave. I'm not leaving my 8-year-old daughter in my car with neighbors we don't even know that we just moved in here on March 1st. We just moved in. Okay. So here I am trying to get furniture, and he's like, this is an arrest now. Well, give me the ticket. Give me the ticket. Why the hell do I have to be arrested? Are we seriously wasting taxpayers' dollars to that bull? Like, that's stupid.
She does have a point. Arresting her is going too far.
It's stupid, though. Agree with me or not. It's stupid.
It is a waste of money for something that is probably going to end up dropped in the end.
Officer and a person, and then to tell me that what you say is law because it comes out of your mouth. That's not how that works.
Yeah, and see where the cop's poor choice of words
people get out of cars and
has elevated things.
That's not normal either.
It was a fast walk.
But you said I ran up to the truck.
Yes,
we don't know what you're running. Are you running to get something? We don't know that. Why are you running? Do you have something?
Again, the cop is not wrong, but she's in no mood to hear him right now, so he just needs to stop.
What's wrong? And I said, 1 second. I was trying to tell him.
Like, make a decision on how you're going to deal with this, which, quite frankly, should be write her the speeding ticket, write her a citation for the obstruction if you think you can make it. Let her go.
I'm bringing him to something weird.
standing by the "you're going to be arrested and I'm going to take you away"
You don't know
thing.
him and he don't know
It's
you.
just ego at
That's
this point.
We don't know why.
It's not necessary.
People tell us
It's-
lies every day.
it's overkill.
Oh, I got to do this. I got to do that, and they don't. Okay.
That's fine. Well, it's
I'm just trying.
You know, and I do to some degree understand that,
Right.
you know, second, third, fourth cop on the scene, they must hear all the time, probably 20 times a day,
I didn't know that they were here. I didn't know
that
they were
first
here. I
cop on the
wasn't here
scene
at a
did
certain
something
time.
wrong.
Like, that doesn't
I'm
make
sure
any
they hear it
sense. And
constantly.
No, I'm not going to the station.
So I
I'm not gonna
understand
get
how
arrested.
they
That's not going to happen.
can just
Well, I'm gonna
ignore
tell you
it
this.
out of
I don't know what's gonna
habit.
happen. But if he says you're under arrest and going to jail,
For what?
I don't know. I'm just hear me out. If that's what he says, okay, and you say I'm not going.
Okay, but
Yeah.
then
I get why
you're just
she's
gonna
laughing
compile
because
your
this
list
is
of
a ridiculous
criminal
statement the
charges,
cop
which is
just
not-
made.
But does
But
it make any sense? Like, what person, after having the conversation with me, after he finally put me in handcuffs,
Okay.
after he was able to understand what was going on, what person says, "Okay, ma'am, I'm going to continue to pursue your arrest because your reasons are valid because you got out of your vehicle"? That's what we're going to be paying for.
He's going to have to type
That's
a
stupid.
criminal report.
That sounds
If-
so asinine
And
on a
then
document.
hear me out. It's all
I don't
on
want to
video.
talk to him.
this is
It's
what
all on
lawyers are
video.
for.
So, I mean, I guess it'll be up to the judge if it gets to that.
Again, I think a decent defense attorney could make hay out of the first cop
Nope.
easily.
You're making matters worse.
Because I'm upset with you. I'm upset with the way you
upset
smoke
with
weed.
you.
That doesn't matter to me right
See,
now. because
again,
You jumped
this
out
is
the
back to the
car.
first cop. Their names are in the upper left corner.
It doesn't matter.
So it's the one whose
I'm in
last name
charge.
starts with a
I'm in
B
control. I made the
that
stop.
is the
Listen,
guy
you're not
she's
gonna meet
antagonistic
very
with
many
because he was
nicer than
antagonistic
I
with
am,
her.
All right. Unfortunately, you're the first person I've had to chase down in a few years, and you're going to jail today. Obstructing official business, resisting arrest.
Okay, dude, you are just being a jerk.
That's what we're doing.
Absolutely.
You do not have to go this far. You do not have to go this
You the owner of the
hard.
car?
Hi, Officer Andre.
Hello. All right. What's the number for the father of the child? So we try to get a hold of him, get him to come. be with the
And
child.
can we also note, since the officer in the glasses is the one that she was dealing with at the beginning, this is the second cop's body cam that we're now watching. Notice his demeanor is now noticeably different than it has been the entire interaction. I never like this. When a cop is alone and they act one way, but then as soon as other cops are on the scene, they act a different way. Not a fan. Especially not a fan of this guy, because now he's acted all nicey nice and like pretending he was the calm, rational one the entire time, which I'm not saying he was aggressive or like completely out of line or screaming his head off or anything, but he crossed the line in a few places. And for him to be taking this absolute hardline stance of "you ran from me," which I don't believe, based on what both sides said, based on where he turned his lights on and the fact that she was like, "that stop sign right there is where he turned the lights on," and I stopped, what, like 50 feet from there? I don't think she ran from him at all. I think he maybe followed her for a while, but didn't like tell her to pull over. Maybe he thought that he did, or maybe he thinks that just driving behind somebody is indication enough for them to pull over. I wouldn't know. But yeah, the fact that he's saying "you ran from me," dude, you're being ridiculous. And the fact that he is persisting with arresting her, now he's just doing it because she offended him. And he as good as said so. Because he said, "you're the first person that has run from me in a while, and that's why I'm pressing, obstructing, and resisting, and blah, blah, blah." So I was right about the raised voice earlier. It's when she offended him personally. That's when he decided to arrest her. I'm not saying he doesn't have a justified reason. I'm saying that's not why he's doing it.
Someone else you want to come be with the child.
Can you call my husband, please?
Yeah.
I don't want you calling my husband.
Okay.
I know that he's the arresting officer. You can get the arrest. That's fine. I just feel like you don't know people.
I do know people.
No, because
No.
you're not speaking to me like a person. You're speaking to me like I am some sort of hardened criminal
No,
that's just been
I'm
running around the
speaking to you like a
projects.
child because you're acting like a child.
Because I'm having a
Okay, the fact that he would say that in front of another officer. Now, I'm not sure anybody's rank or anything, or like who's the superior of who here. I don't know. I don't see any stripes or like collar pins, so I'm not sure. But the fact that he's okay calling her a child and saying that she was acting like a child in front of another officer, and he's saying it for like the third or fourth time now, I'm really not okay with this. Because I'm sorry, officer, but what good are you doing when you say that to somebody? I don't care if it's true. I don't care if in your opinion it's true. This is what I mean about, you want respect from somebody. You got to talk to them with respect. If you're telling someone they're a child and they're acting like a child, guess what? They're probably going to act like a child just because you're being condescending. Okay? Treat somebody the way that you want to be treated. Okay? I'm not saying I always live up to this, certainly. But, like, calling her a child, what good are you doing right now? Come on. You're pretending that you're trying to work with her and find someone to take care of the child, and yet you're continuing to antagonize the situation. Another officer that's looking the other way, literally, I didn't mean that the way it sounded, but he's literally looking the other way. Open your mouth. I don't care that the first guy's the arresting officer. He's out of line. He's not being professional. You need to tell him, okay, you go deal with the paperwork over there. I will get the information for the child because the two of you can't talk to each other right now.
That's how you speak to women
If
because
your
they have
child
emotions?
was doing something like this, you would have to put them in your place.
What is his number?
Okay, that's a frightening statement. Because he just said if your child was doing something like that, you'd have to put them in their place. So, officer, again, I'm playing the role of imaginary defense attorney right now and pretending that this officer is on the stand trying to justify arresting this woman. If I'm imaginary defense attorney, I'm saying, so officer, your cause for arrest was that you were putting my client in her place. Correct? Because you felt she was acting like a child. So you misused your authority to effectively arrest her as a form of time out. Because you viewed her behavior as incorrect, not because she broke the law. Isn't that right, officer?
I hope he feels accomplished as an officer. I hope that that's an accomplishing feeling to arrest a mother in front of her home, in front of her daughter, with no possible reason. Like, no possible reason.
You have to understand this, dear.
I don't understand.
Don't call somebody dear. I'm sorry, but don't.
I'm trying to, but it doesn't make sense.
We can't arrest people
It doesn't.
for nothing.
Actually, you can.
So
Why
you
am I being arrested?
because you violated several laws.
What is the law?
Obstructing official business, hindering
What's
his
official
investigation.
business?
You can't just run and walk away from us when he says get back here on a lawful stop. You can't do that. People get out of the car and run from us all the time, and it's a crime.
Okay.
Okay.
If I
So-
was running away,
I don't know what happened before I got here.
which you guys can see.
Right, and it's
I always love when a cop says, I don't know what happened here, while he's lecturing somebody about what they shouldn't have done when he wasn't here. So do you know everything that happened, officer, or you know nothing? Because I'm sick of seeing cops take that both ways approach of, well, you did this, you did this, you did this because the other officer told me and therefore I know it's the gospel truth. While at the same time saying, well, I can't listen to you about anything that the officer did wrong because I wasn't here and I don't know. And my job is only to take you from A to B while I have no clue what occurred or why you're being arrested. I never like seeing that. And it's one of those loopholes in the system that tends to perpetuate bad arrests and bad behavior from the beginning because nobody questions it. No other cop goes to the first cop and says, okay, did she really do this? Can you prove it? Do you have proof? Or is this arresting someone for the sake of they annoyed you and it's all going to be dropped after wasting everybody's time and $10,000? You know, you want to talk about the system being overloaded and why things are behind and why the cost of prosecution is through the roof? It's because there are petty, stupid arrests that clog up the system, waste time, waste money. And this is what leads to, like, more important non-petty stuff. Not getting prosecuted or getting dropped because a case gets stalled for 2 years or something like that.
It's going to be all on video.
You know, there needs to be
Okay,
better
they'll play it for the
judgment
judge and jury.
in
Don't touch me. I tried
who
go
to
away.
arrest
People
and
said I was resisting arrest.
who to
I said,
not.
"What am I under arrest for? I can't understand why you would arrest me."
But you just can't get out of a car and run away or walk away when he's telling you to stop. He has a lawful reason to stop.
Okay,
you for your
officer,
speed,
you've made the
okay?
point now
That
about a
means
dozen
you sit in the
times
car,
that she
you
was
take
legally in the
or your
wrong.
warning,
Fine.
and go
She's
about your
legally
day.
in the wrong.
Okay?
I'll own that
But
because
There
I
was
you
no
just want
reason
her to
that
say
you need
you're
run
right.
up to the house if they're right still here.
That is all
You're
he
not
wants
gonna
right
wait.
now
know who
is
I
for
am
her
either, so I was
to
trying
give
be
in
treated
and
like
say,
and I didn't want
yeah,
to go
you
to
were
the
right.
ticket while they're like, okay,
I
I'm
shouldn't
in
have
the car when
done
I do
this,
know
this,
what
or
I gotta
this.
do.
I think it could have been handled.
He's
differently
not gonna
if you
get
sat
that.
there and then say, hey, can you tell them not to
And
leave just yet?
that's
Or
not
something
the goal.
simple like that.
That's not your
It also
job.
been handled differently if he had the know-how to conversate with
Is it
somebody.
not normal in our job that when we pull someone over for a simple speeding ticket, for the person to get out of the car? Again, like I said, we don't know what you're running away from.
That is true. That is true. I can understand that. I can understand.
And then if he tells you to stop, legally, you have to. Because he has a lawful reason to stop you to begin with. If he had no reason to stop you, then it would be a different story. However, the reason for the stop.
If he had no reason to stop her, he would have stopped her and
I
arrested
wish
her
he
anyway.
talked to me the way you talk to me, like a human being. I hate the fact that he's condescending. I hate the fact that he's arrogant. I hate the fact that he's standing there talking down to me like somehow because he's tall and white, he has all the privilege in the world.
Okay, I didn't see him being racist. I did see him being condescending, though.
Hello, is
He's
this
absolutely right about that.
Hey, this is Officer Poltron from the Lorraine Police Department.
And I do think if the officer, after
I'm just here
getting
because
her to stop,
for someone else. Oh,
and like I said, I agree with him putting her in cuffs temporarily and putting her against the car, not in the car.
you know him?
But I think if he had then tried
So
to
he's,
calm the things down
an ex-driver.
and been like, okay, I just need you to stop and
And,
deal with the speeding ticket, and if you're willing to
trying
do
to
that, I will let you out of the cuffs. If he had tried de-escalating things and approaching her calmly, I think he could have dealt with this very easily. I think this could have been over in about 10 minutes. And she'd be in her house arranging her furniture with her kid, and he'd be on to another call.
No, I get it.
But he got offended, and he just decided he's going to jail, and that's it.
Do you want to talk to me?
At this point, I need something to distract me from how ridiculous this whole situation is.
I think this is a third cop because it's a third name.
I do not, but here's the thing.
Are you married?
I have a fiance, but we're not married.
Oh, when are you guys going to have your wedding?
It's to be determined.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How long have you been engaged?
That's embarrassing.
How long
Oh, that's a long time.
Really? Then why bother going through with the wedding?
You know, that was my thought too. I mean, she's already the beneficiary of all my stuff.
And technically, you're what? After 7 years, is it or 9?
7 years.
That's not a thing in Ohio anymore.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, it used to be.
Oh,
I thought it was.
oh, like
I thought it was.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
the level on which I want to say this dude is trifling.
You have
Everything's
equal-
basically
You've
already
been
in place.
engaged for
Well,
7 years,
Well,
Would she be on anything?
she's still.
and they're in a state where there's no common law.
Okay.
So.
And what about your deed to your home?
He's like, so
Is
he,
it
Well, we're both on that.
I put her name on everything, so it's like we're married, except you're not.
Probably something.
What do
I
you
have
bet
to
his
I would-
fiance
yeah,
does
I
not
would be
share
passed
his
if she'd
opinion?
go through probate,
That's,
which would not be good for you.
yeah. No,
for her.
you're probably
Very
right.
stressful.
So I take it you're just now moving in here, huh?
Yeah, trying
Yeah.
to.
Where'd you move?
anyways.
Where are you coming from?
We had a house in Elyria for almost 9 years.
This is a really nice neighborhood they moved into. It
Oh,
looks
you
like
built it?
fairly new
Yeah,
as
very
well.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Like it looks like new construction.
Honestly, it was cheaper to build than it was to buy what was already on the market.
You know.
Okay,
that's
so
what I
yeah.
thought. Yeah.
So they had
especially
this
around here.
place. They got
Get
in
the
when it
tax
was being
abatement or
built.
whatever.
The 15-year tax
Yeah.
abatement out here.
Great.
That is often way
Yeah.
cheaper.
And they upgraded our countertops, which was also a nice bonus.
Yeah, that's very nice. Okay,
Yeah,
good
and
for you.
things like that. If you buy
Hopefully
in while
this
it's
is
still
kind of
being
just a
built,
little
you
speed
can
bump.
usually
I mean, I'm
customize a
sure
little
you'll-
bit.
you'll-
Like these are cookie cutter homes, but you can usually make
you'll
some
have a
changes
box,
to make
so,
them
I mean,
stand
you get
out.
today and, then
And like she said, if you buy
it'll
in
be a
early, they
short
will
thing.
usually do
They'll
some
review all
upgrades
the
for you.
tapes and
Yeah.
Bodycam,
Because
all that
most
kind of
developments
thing.
are not fully funded when they start getting
Yeah, it's
built.
really
They
a
need to
lie.
sell
Which
those
basically, I
to
just heard him
get the
say
money to finish building them
on the radio. I
and
heard
then make a
sounded like
profit.
someone kind of yell, and then I guess there were some people out here, so we're not sure exactly what the situation is. It's better just to have someone extra here in case, because that's not what happened now. But we've been to these kind of things where things get out of hand, a crowd forms, people start wanting to fight, get rowdy. It's just
This
it's just
cop's
a
100% in the right because I've seen that
See, I mean,
happen
me,
too,
all
where
that
something
kind of
starts
outfits.
small and then the neighbors want to get involved, and then people from the next street over, or
Yeah, I mean,
somebody's
I-
relative
I'm
shows
not
up,
really
and
trying to from- I wasn't
then
here, so I
just
don't- I
all
don't
hell
know,
breaks loose and
What's been said, I didn't.
things get out of hand, mob mentality. It's not good.
She's gonna probably say no.
Okay, that's fine. If not, watch your child until they show up. Child likes me. Okay. You seem like a nice lady, but there are people out there that aren't so nice. And all it takes is someone to get to that doorstep and let a pit bull out, or to get to that doorstep and say, hey, I haven't
Again,
done in my mailbox.
fair point.
Those are the kind of things that we have to be aware
But
of.
you lose
Yeah.
that
So when we
point the
tell people to
second you
stop,
have her in
that's why you have
cuffs.
to stop then and there. And if people don't stop, then we have to start wondering,
And,
is my safety at risk?
Going through
See
with
what
the
I'm saying?
arrest after all is said
So
and
it's not-
done,
it's not-
After you,
it's not
hear the
necessary.
scenario, that like kind of changes how you decide to handle it. Like in the moment, you say, "Oh, okay, this makes sense. Like I get it. She's standing here. She's willing to cooperate, but because I'm so hot over XYZ, I'm going to pursue taking it even further."
She's 100% right.
That for me,
I 100% agree with her. I think she's 100% right.
All right, Chelsea.
The cops should have de-escalated it. He
Oh,
should
he's on his
have,
way, but it's going to be a while.
I know.
he should have,
Yesterday,
like,
yeah, he said he has to drop off
detained
the
her,
hub,
write the
tell him
ticket, let her
finish
go.
the route,
Yeah,
So it's going to be a while. So we can't wait. All right, so I have to take you out to the county jail.
I can't. My daughter.
We can watch him or her, but we can't just sit here and wait for him to come.
You do.
Okay, I have a question here, officer. So, if I'm understanding what he's saying they're willing to have an officer, one of them, I think there's 3 of them here now, stay there, like, until her husband gets home. We don't know how long that's going to be. If the time code on this is correct, assume he has a 9 to 5. It could be like 3 hours or more before he gets home. So, officer, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that you're going to have a police officer sit on this street or in somebody's living room, in the neighbor's living room that offered to watch the child, and have the officer stay there and babysit, literally, while you take her downtown to the police station and do paperwork, etc., rather than A, letting her go, B, since you're going to have one cop sitting there anyway, put her in the back of the car and sit there for 3 hours so she doesn't flip out or feel like she's abandoning her child. Now, everyone is going to say that would be being way too nice. My only point here is that if you're going to have a cop staying there anyway, which why are you doing that? And the answer to that is because they can't leave the child with the neighbor. They legally can't. The neighbor doesn't have custody. They are supposed to turn the child over to the father, who is not going to be there for a few hours because he's working. So they're in this catch-22 of what do I do with this kid for a few hours? Now, if mom would say that it's okay for the neighbor to watch her, I don't see why a cop would have to stay. But, again, this is an unnecessary situation. And the fact that there is nobody to watch the kid right now is just more reason for the cops to de-escalate and reconsider things here when what she's being charged with is so minor and quite frankly petty, and I don't mean that in the legal sense, I mean that in the why she's being charged sense, that, if you want to make yourself look good and save a little face, this would really be the moment to do it. I'm very sure that's not going to happen, so let's see what does.
Do you understand, as a person, what that's going to do to her?
I'm not the arresting officer.
But
Oh,
can't you have the
definition of a
conversation?
cop
I'm a
out.
good mom, and I'm not gonna put my
I'm not the
kids in
arresting
that.
officer.
Like,
You
what
can't
is it? They
blame
have the
me.
keys to get in the house? What are they gonna do?
Well, you know what? You're not
That
helping
ship has
either,
sailed.
dude.
As far
Like,
as
I'm out of patience with
giving you a
this.
Supposed to
citation,
get in contact with them.
you can call from once you get out there.
My boys are in school.
You'll be
Oh,
able to
she has
call
other
and
kids
hi.
too. Oh, because it's only 2:30. She did
The
say
sooner
she
we
picked
get
up
you
the
out
one
there,
kid
the sooner you're able to
early.
make bond and get home.
So the other kids are
I need
either
something.
older or younger, I'm guessing, so they're at a different
This one
school.
here.
Yeah, my daughter.
You want to talk to her right now?
Yeah, 100%. She needs to hear from me what's going on, not you guys. She has no idea who you guys are.
Also,
She's
very
gonna be
fair.
like, oh, I'm so comfortable.
Kids that age are not
She
going to
just
listen
watched
to a
me
stranger. Not
push me
that
up against
much.
the truck and
So
arrest me
yeah,
for getting out of a
I
vehicle. She doesn't understand any of
do
that.
think that
She doesn't
they
get it.
should let her mom say, like, mommy has to go away for a couple of hours. You're going to stay with this neighbor,
Come on over here, dear.
and daddy's going to come and get you at dinner
How
time.
you doing, baby?
Because you got to let kids know what's going on.
Can I have a hug? Well, because mommy broke a law. I think just one. I don't know. He might try to slap me with multiple. We'll see.
Okay.
But
I applaud her for saying mommy broke a law and being honest.
And then daddy's gonna come home. Okay. So you're gonna have to stay here with this officer. Hopefully a nice officer. I don't want that officer with her. Can you stay?
Okay, you don't need to say that in front of the kid. Don't put ideas in her head that the cops are going to be mean to her.
And then yeah. Okay. Well, that would be nice. Daddy will be home shortly. Here's mommy's concern is her belongings are in the car, and I don't want to leave my stuff in the car. So can you get mommy's purse out, please, and keep it with you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Am I allowed to give you my phone so I can at least have it
Yeah.
at the
You want it?
jailhouse so I can call somebody?
Yeah, absolutely. I would take. You have a wallet. You could take your purse and everything if that's what you
Yeah, I
feel
would like
comfortable.
that. That would
Is it? Where's it at in the car? Front passenger seat? Or I'll go grab it.
Yeah, I'll stay here and hang out until your husband gets home.
That would be great.
That way, if she wants to hang out on the porch with, this is your neighbor, right? This lady here.
Yeah,
You wanted to stay with your
Yeah.
neighbor, kind of. That. All right. Yeah,
I mean,
I'll wait out
yeah.
here until he gets here.
that'd be fine. His name's Tyrell. He's gonna be in a white Honda Civic.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, at least they're
in what room.
getting the kid
Yeah.
squared
I just
away.
wanted to make sure we were clear about it because I mean I wouldn't. I don't think I'd want my daughter in the house with some strangers. So is she staying with the neighbor or?
No.
No.
Oh, she's going in.
No, I brought her back out.
Okay.
You guys just keep an eye on her until Dad gets here.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Ani, why aren't you gonna put the bags down in the house? I thought you were gonna get Mame and Mila and take them to go potty. That's what I thought you were doing. I don't want you in the house where they're bringing the furniture and stuff. First of all, we don't know them.
I was just showing them where to put it.
Okay.
Aw, the kid's trying to
What
help.
did you show them?
I showed them to put them on, make sure if you let's just put them in the living room, the normal one, if you need to.
No, that's not what that's not what we're paying them for. We're paying them to put it in our bedrooms. That's why you guys had to clear out your bedrooms. Better go back there and tell them no. Better say,
Where
listen.
do they need to put it out?
The living room set goes in the living room.
Bedrooms in the bedroom.
The bedroom's in the bedroom. The master bedroom has an air mattress in it that just could be propped up on the wall somewhere. She gets.
Okay, so
one
she's
bed
getting-
set.
The
So
living
she's
room
got like
set-
her whole
I
house
don't
is
know
in
what the
this
little
truck.
one Told you. Apparently, she told you something different. Living room set in the living room. Bedroom set goes to the bedroom. Prop the air mattress up in the main master bedroom and put whatever. I don't know. Okay.
Hey, can you get?
Well, that
Mame
was a
and
halfway
Mila
decent
to
attempt
go
to relay
potty?
that.
Yeah, thank you. Put the bags down. Go put them in the house.
I know you guys figured it out.
Put the bags. Your book bag and my purse. Put them in the house.
So yeah, it really sounds like her entire like house worth of furniture is in this truck. So all the more reason she was amped up.
They get out. Desmond usually gets to school by 2:40. DePaul usually gets out by 2:55, and they go to Clearview. So
Oh, so her kids are getting out like right now.
probably.
Hopefully, Ty's here by then.
The
Sounded like
problem is Tyrell doesn't know any of this because I haven't had a chance to talk to him.
Oh.
So he's gonna wonder
He-
where his kids are. And we're not gonna
So
know.
nobody's
He knew
called
you
the
were getting
dad?
arrested. That much he did know.
How?
I have no idea. Because he's like, I'm trying to get home now. It's like when I called him, he already knew to come home.
Oh, one of the neighbors must have called.
So somebody
Can
must
you
have
push
said
my
something.
glasses up? Just in the middle.
Okay, at least he knows and he's on his. He's like trying to
All right.
get off his shift and get home. That's good.
Back inside.
You are welcome to go in my home.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't.
I would ask.
I don't
you
want her
take your
to be
shoes
a-
off on the carpet, though.
No worries.
That's the only thing. So if you just stand in the front.
Brina,
All right,
they're
you're
not allowed to
still
go in her
sitting there. I'm gonna
house.
Put the seatbelt on you, but you gotta get in first.
Okay. How do I adjust my wrist?
They're not made. You know what? Come on out. Let me just do this for you. I'm gonna take them off. I'm just put them in the front. We just have to have you handcuffed. And our policy says in the back, but as long as you don't start trying to.
I always seriously wonder why
Here, I gotta put them on you. This
the
is when I
handcuffs
take
in the
over
back
there.
thing is
That's easy.
still a policy. I
Better?
fully understand why it would have been
All right, let me
even
reach over you and grab
10 or 15 years ago because police cars didn't look like
You're gonna have to
this.
type a report on
This
his
one
version of what
clearly
happened.
has a solid barrier.
that'll go
The
to
back
the
is
judge.
completely
Right,
like
right.
segmented off. There's no grate.
Let me get you out of here. Like I said,
It's,
you'll have a
you know,
bond to be
it's
able to get
very
right up.
self-contained.
No.
So I don't understand
You-
why you would need
the
somebody's
statements
hands
are-
behind them because
I mean, you can
previously,
come
if that
once you
barrier's
come-
not
once you get
there
out, you can come
and
to
somebody's
the
hands are in the
police
front, they
and
could,
make
in
a
theory,
complaint or
as
something
we've
like
all
that.
seen on
That's
TV
what
shows,
you do.
get their arms
What'll
around
happen is
the
you'll have-
officer's
you'll get
neck or
assigned
something when
court
they're
date,
driving or just like
and if
shake
you
the
can't
seat and
afford
cause an
attorney,
accident or
one will be appointed
start
for you,
hitting
and
or
then
if they
they'll take
do
care of
have a
all that
weapon that
stuff.
you didn't find,
Okay.
you know.
All right. Let me close the door and get out.
But I don't see where it is
That
nowadays
one's
because
first officer.
with the barriers and everything and the fact that, you know, they do so many searches now. I've seen people
I
get
think
searched
he's
2-3
doing some
times before
paperwork.
getting put in a car.
He's
Though
gotta
I don't think
write
this,
some stuff
I don't think
down
she was
still.
searched at all, actually.
Well, because he has to write down everything that happened.
You know, she does appear to be wearing a
All the
dress with
stuff
no
that happened
pockets,
before
so
I got
really,
here.
but
Close. You're close. We do have to bring it to somebody else.
then you bring it to the president.
No, the prosecutor. They're the ones that work down at the court.
The kid is trying to understand how law
So
works.
once he's done with that, then he's gonna leave, and once your dad gets here, then we'll both leave. Yeah.
Oh,
How about I
fluffy
wait here in the garage for you,
puppies!
and then after you put them away, you
Oh
come
my
back out?
gosh,
wait
they're
for
so
your dad?
cute. They look like mine that I used to have. Oh, fluffy
Okay.
puppies.
I'll be waiting here for you, okay? I got here after everything happened. Your wife.
Oh,
asked
so
me
is
to
this
stay here
the...
with
Okay,
her
here's
until you got
Daddy.
home. As far as any details about what all went on, that's gonna be the officer to speak to. Like I said, I got here after everything kind of transpired. But she walked the dogs. We made sure to stay off the carpet.
Aww.
That's basically all I got.
I
Any
like
other
that
questions,
he's
can
giving the
deal with
kid
that.
praise in front of the dad, letting him know that, you know, she was a good girl. And
Call me to pick her up.
Yeah, she gets a phone call, so I'm assuming she'll probably call you first.
Yeah, okay, probably.
You can always call up there and just say, "Hey, I'm looking for so and so. Have they been booked in yet?" They'll be able to tell you.
All right. Well, it was nice meeting you.
Me too.
Nice meeting you too.
You guys take
Nice
care.
meeting you.
Nice meeting
Good luck to you.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, take care. So what they're gonna
okay,
do is
so at least
they're gonna bring you
they
in.
were
I don't know.
chill with the
if you ever
dad,
been here when
Nope.
left
and
in a long
they,
time or
you know,
whatnot.
they made sure the kid was
They're
okay.
gonna do
Points for
female gonna
that.
search you.
Yep.
Then they're gonna take you over to the scanner, make sure you don't have anything hidden in
Yeah.
where I didn't check.
Yeah.
You know, and then
That's fine.
bring you back.
Sounds like a good
They're going through a shift change right now, so it might be
a little
a couple
bit.
extra minutes.
Sounds like
Just go ahead and stand by this window over here, though, for me, dear.
this one.
Yeah, over here.
Okay, so she's pretty chilled out now because,
No, they're gonna. Once,
you know, there's
once
no
the
point
female,
in
corrections officer
trying to
comes out
deal
here,
with anything at this point.
is that you belong to them. You know, they're gonna be the ones that.
Okay, so she was arrested and charged with obstructing and resisting. I think those are both bogus. I didn't see that she was given a speeding ticket at any point, which they claim to be the entire reason that they were interacting with her in the first place. So again, I am always sus when whatever the initial reason for somebody being stopped or what a cop initially says they do wrong doesn't appear on the list of final charges. I'm always highly sus of that. Was she obstructing under the law? Yes. Do I think that they could have just written her a second ticket for that? Yes. Do I think she needed to be arrested? Absolutely not. Do I think arresting her was overkill? Yes. Do I think she was initially in the wrong for walking away from the traffic stop and not stopping when she was told and handling things in a much calmer and more reasonable manner? Yes. Do I think the cop was right? Initially, yes, but once he had her in cuffs and against the car, that is, as I said, where he needed to de-escalate things and handle things with him being the adult in the situation, instead of calling her an idiot, repeatedly calling her a child, saying she was acting like a child, raising his voice, losing his temper, and doing the towering over finger pointing thing that I despise so much. I also will remind you, there were a couple times where the cop more or less admitted she offended me and that's why I arrested her. Also, his comment about whatever I say is law that I really hope he didn't mean the way that it sounded. So, in the end, whose side am I on? I have got to come down on her side, mostly for the sake of the child. I am not saying the way she was acting, she was deserving of every second chance and that and this and that, but I do think the way she was acting was understandable. Given the circumstances, she still should not have acted the way she did. That's true. But the cop took things too far. He needed to be the bigger person. He needed to be the adult. And he is supposed to be the professional. And once he crossed that line, you lose the high ground. So he was in the right, but got himself into the wrong and then just refused to reconsider and really take what would have been a much more logical and just all around fair outcome. Detain her, write her the speeding ticket, write her a citation for obstruction if you would like to do that. But then let her go and deal with her situation. You could have been a human being enough to be understanding, officer, and you weren't. And then to be calling her a bad parent and other things in front of the child, that is unacceptable under any circumstance. So, sorry, but the cop gets fail for me on this one. Though, only when I say the cop, I'm referring to the first cop, last name starting with a B. The other two, didn't see anything wrong with them. Thought they handled things pretty well. I said what I said about, the loopholes and the I wasn't here kind of statements, but there wasn't a lot of that here. And so the second and third cop, they handled things well, and especially given that they don't know what is going on. So they handled things well. At least the kid was safe and plans